Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's jump to stock movers right now. United, I believe, has a working relationship with GE Aerospace. On a podcast, here's Lisa Mateo.
I like the connection. There you go. So, yeah, we'll start with General Electric. Ticker GE. Their shares have been up about 2%. A couple things. So they boosted their full-year financial guidance. Top Wall Street's profit estimates for the second quarter. So what about tariffs, right? Well, they said rebounding demand in the aviation market, that softened the impact of that global trade war. So that's what they're saying. If you look at it, GE Aerospace, they had a 30% jump in revenue for its commercial business last quarter. A big recent win, its largest ever widebody deal to sell more than 400 engines to Qatar Airways. So that was a big thing for them.
GE is up 60% year to date. Tom,
that's huge.
Tom and I spent our first 20 years of our career, GE was just the bomb. It was the market. It was everything that's good about U.S. corporations. And then in the last 10 to 15 years, or the following 10 to 15 years, was really just the kind of the dismantling of GE. Now it seems to have found its footing, Tom.
It's mostly management decisions. When Larry Culp writes in the Harvard Business Review, everyone stops and reads every word. Larry Culp was gospel on making tough decisions. Continue, Lisa.
Yes. Okay. So we did just hear from Scott Kirby. So let's go to United. Okay. Ticker UAL. Their shares have been lower, down as much as nearly 3%. Its latest earnings forecast, it just wasn't as impressive as hoped. They narrowed their profit range for the year. They said the outlook's become a little bit more predictable. But you heard Scott Kirby. He said he's confident, right? A strong finish to 2025. He was talking about feeling confident in Newark, despite disruptions there. He also said he would like to get into JFK. So, he kind of putting that out there. Yes. So he did mention that. But what they mentioned in their report is also this increase in travel demand. I mean, they said there was a double-digit acceleration in business demand so far this month compared with the second quarter.
I was at Newark Airport yesterday.
Yeah.
Terminal A, packed. But people were moving through. It seemed to be working just fine. I don't know.
Yes, and also I did notice I didn't have to take my shoes off, and I do not have TSA
there
pre-check.
You go. Oh, you did? You don't have TSA pre-check? Oh,
yes.
You gotta.
That was over at
LaGuardia.
LaGuardia.
And now the secretary said that Secretary Noem said she may expand the liquid size.
Love that.
Well.
Yep.
I mean, Lisa wants to take in a 58-gallon oil drum of some lotion that can't afford.
Those tiny little things
they hydrate.
feel nothing.
They hydrate.
Yes.
I mean, the kids hydrate, Tom. You and I drink when we're thirsty. The kids hydrate. That's how it rolls.
They hydrate.
That's how
yes.
it
That's how
Next.
It
Okay, last one. I want to get to Lucid, ticker LCID, because they jumped as high as like 62%. It's now down to about 28% or so. But they are teaming up with Uber and also self-driving startup Nuro to launch this robotaxi fleet. So this is big news. Uber said they're going to operate Lucid Gravity SUVs with the Nuro Driver technology on its ride-sharing network. So here's what they plan. They plan to launch it later in 2026. In a not identified major city. They haven't said where, but they plan to deploy at least 20,000 of those robotaxis over 6 years. Not coming to the Bronx.
Not going to the Bronx. Okay.
I don't want to put me on record with that. But
Dan Ives goes blah blah blah, and I just don't get it.
Robotaxis.
Robotaxi. Where?
Yes, they're all. If you go to
They're
San
in Austin,
Francisco,
Texas. They're in San Francisco.
They're all
they're
over.
out. Ed Ludlow. I mean, I don't think he's driven in the last year or two. I mean, he's just a robo guy.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.